Hello, everyone. I'm doing my final read on Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 through 17. Um, Previously, we had read verses 9 through 11, and it talked about how the people that were murdered, the people that were, people had died in Christ, that had died, how they would call for justice, and how, as we read, they were all given a white robe, um, which signified salvation and redemption. So, but let's go ahead and get kicked off, and let's start at verse 12. So it says, I looked when he, the Lamb, broke open the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the whole moon became like blood. And the stars of the sky fell to the earth like a fig tree shedding its late summer figs when shaken by a strong wind. The sky was split, separated from the land, and rolled up like a scroll, and every mountain and island were dislodged and moved out of their places. Then the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the military commanders, and the wealthy, and the strong, and everyone, slave or free, hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they called to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, and from the righteous wrath of the indignation of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath and vengeance and retribution has come, and who is able to face the God and stand before the wrath of the Lamb. So, right off the bat, it tells us, that there was a great earthquake, right? So anytime I think about an earthquake, obviously there's a break, there's a split in the ground, there's a shift, there's a moving of things, and obviously, anytime you see the aftermath of an earthquake, there's a lot of damage, there's a lot of things that are moved, and so isn't it interesting that we wake up every day and we can see our house, we can see our surroundings, we can see our neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, there's this big impact. There's this big catastrophe that happens, and it displaces everything and it moves everything, and it's disarray, and it sometimes it could bring confusion. You ask yourself why, and reading this, it's kind of like if we put our daily lives into these verses, we as humans, since the beginning of time, we've been defiant. We've since the very beginning of Adam and Eve. The serpent told them, eat this apple, this fruit, and you will be like gods. And ever since that moment, when Adam and Eve sinned, they hid themselves. They hid themselves because they were embarrassed. They were embarrassed for what they had done. And ever since then, we have everything that God has brought true and perfect and put in place. We humans, because of sin, have managed to displace it, to dearrange everything, to displace everything. And um, it seems like we've allowed sin to just take over our lives and our daily routines. That we instead of trying to better and get closer to God, we end up being defiant. And in these verses, it talks about how there's a big split, how there's a big shift, a separation. It seems like, from good and evil, that God is finally taking a stand against the sin, against all humanity. um what do we know that is the absence of God? The absence of God is hell. And it kind of makes me think that this arrangement, right? That there's obviously chaos would instill, right? Thinking that if God is removing Himself, right? Like it says in the Bible that it was like a scroll that was rolled up, right? Anytime we see somebody roll something up, obviously you're done using whatever it is, right? And you're rolling it up, and to me, all this, it's like finally sin has had its max, and God is you know just taking it and splitting it, and so creating a shift. And obviously, we can see here that there's a lot of things that are happening, but yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and thank you very much.